This is Susan Wilbanks with BlendedInsight.com. I am a holistic and integrative healing arts practitioner, an intuitive, and an energy healer. In this podcast, I share tips, tools, and suggestions that have helped me along my path in hopes of inspiring and helping you along yours. Let's get started with today's podcast topic. Hey, Bright Soul, thank you so much for joining me on today's podcast. I want to thank you all for your beautiful messages. I wanted to let anyone know that it emailed me from my newsletter that for some reason, I don't know what happened, but email is starting to send a lot of my business messages to junk mail. So I have to go check my junk mail to get the messages, which is why I'm so late in responding. But I want to thank everyone who's taken the time to send beautiful messages, affirmations, positive thoughts, vibes, all of that. I receive it and I'm sending it all back. So thank you very much. I got to tell you, I've just had a beautiful week. My daughter and I we had a very short travel that was pre-planned months in advance. And so we ended up cutting our trip short, heading back based on the guidance of my agency, which is what I'm following, the guidance of the CDC and also my agency. So I want to make sure that I'm doing everything that I can to contribute to the solution with what's going on in the world as opposed to adding to the problem. We had a gorgeous time, and of course, all the gyms and everything have been closed down. So I am loving the Peloton app. So if you are looking for a way to get your fitness in, since you can't go to the gym, the Peloton app is offering a 90-day free trial to their exercise program. So I've been doing the boot camps, and I have a full gym here anyway, because as you all know, I used to work out from home before I did Orange Theory. So I'm actually enjoying that a lot, and I'm doing sauna time, and breathwork sessions online have been phenomenal. So instead of going in person, we're doing them via Zoom, and I'm just finding all of these gorgeous gifts and opportunities in the midst of a pandemic. So that's what's going on in the world, but it's more about how do you choose to respond? What is your resilience plan? And I think all of my years serving in the military and working with the military has really helped me to just find a way to make it work, find some solutions, and continue to beam light onto the planet, because that is what we need. And so that is what I wanted to talk about on today's podcast. So last week when I shared my podcast episode, I had so many people share that they also had the same viewpoint that I had, but it's an unpopular opinion. Most people are freaking out and panicking, and they're really wanting you to join that. They're wanting you to join that fear. And when you don't join it, people want to convince you of how bad you should be joining them in the fear. And so I've heard this over and over again, and I just want to share with you that the way that I was taught to handle these types of situations and the way that I've just naturally learned how to deal with it is that I just don't energize people who have a differing opinion of mine. So I'll give you an example. So last week I had shared how I don't get immunizations anymore. I work for the military hospital, and everyone's aware that I don't get immunizations. I haven't received an immunization since I got out of the military, and I don't give it to my daughter. And here's why. It's not that I don't believe that there's a place for them and they work for some people, but for my personal body and for my daughter's body, we have adverse reactions to them. Our bodies are really sensitive. I'm in that 1% that goes to the dentist. They give me Novocaine for a cavity and I have a reaction to it. And each time, that's just me. Even when I go to the acupuncturist, my channels are so clean that he's like, you don't need acupuncture, because anytime he tries to insert a needle, my body, I'm jolted because I'm so incredibly sensitive. And it's because of the work that I'm doing. And it's because of the work that I'm doing on my daughter. And so I'm one of those people that it just doesn't work out well for me. So over the years working in the military health system, every year they come out and they'll give us free flu shots because we work in the hospital. I never get the flu shot. And so I've had numerous conversations with doctors and nurses like, okay, Susan, are you sure you don't need that flu shot? And I explained to them, look, it just doesn't work out well for me. But here's what's funny is that every single year, everyone in my office would get sick multiple times during the year. I mean, the whole office are coughing and they're passing it to each other. And I'm the only one that doesn't get it. The only one that wouldn't get sick. And that's kind of been the pattern. And so what I'm doing works very well for me. And I'm following the guidance of my higher self. I'm connected to spirit, and I am making the best decision for me and my intuition. And the opinion of someone on the internet means nothing to me. because they aren't qualified to speak into my life. I am getting my information from my intuition. I am the CEO of my own health. And so that's why I always say I totally respect other people's position. I respect their opinions and what they choose to do for themselves and their family. However, their opinion isn't going to change what's right for me. And so I'm just very respectful of other people and what they choose to do. I know what works for me, and I want you to be empowered to do what works for you. I've had this conversation so many times with people over the years, especially in my energy healing circles and my friends that do healing work, because the more you do this work, the more sensitive your body will get, and the more you're tuned into any kind of little nuance that may not be going right. You're just so sensitive that you notice it right away, and you're probably nodding your head because you know exactly what I mean. And that's been my approach with this pandemic. So as I shared last week, my daughter and I traveled. We had planned it for months, and so I checked in with my agency. I checked in with the CDC to make sure that I was following the rules and doing everything that I was supposed to be doing. My agency gave me the full go-ahead. We were super cautious. We were distancing ourselves, all the things that we're supposed to be doing, washing our hands, sanitizing. That we do that stuff anyway, like I shared. This is not a new way of being for us. This is regular for us. And so I had taken my work laptop with me and my phone, and I was very connected with my colleagues and my supervisor just to find out what's going on. I want to be a part of the solution. I want to help. I want to know what's going on. I want to keep my finger on the pulse in a positive way. And so we decided to cut our trip short and come back because I wanted to just come back and get settled. And that was the right decision for us. And then after we got back, we received notification that our agency wanted us to stop domestic travel. So I was so tuned in and so guided that it worked out perfectly. And I was able to do meditation Twin Hearts on the plane, both there, on the way there and on the way back, doing my meditation, blessing the people on the plane, and just doing my part to spread light onto the planet. Pranic Healing released a protocol for prevention of COVID-19 and also for those that have been infected. So I've been running that on everybody that I know, on myself, my daughter. I've been doing everything that I can to help. And so when people were trying to share their opinions about me traveling or sharing their opinions about what I'm doing, I just smile. And when people leave comments that are opinions or things that I don't want, I don't even energize it. I don't respond to it. I just block them, delete them, and move on with my life. Because what I know to be true is that if you energize it and engage in it, that's what they want. They want that. The darkness wants to pull you in. And so if it's not somebody that I personally know, then what they think about what I'm doing is of no concern of mine. And honestly, why do they care what I'm doing? I'm a stranger on the internet. Move on. It's not going to change my opinion. And if it's an associate of mine, I also don't care because that's not someone that's in my inner circle that has a connection to me. So I want to share this with you because there's a couple of my friends who are light workers who are just doing their best to share love on the planet. And they're almost being attacked by people who are in fear and wanting them to overreact in a way that is not required. We are following the guidance of the CDC, and we are following the guidance of our intuition and of our higher selves, and that's what we should be doing. So we're approaching this in a logical and a serious way and with love and logic. And so what I would just encourage you to do is block people, delete them, delete their comments, don't energize it if they're behaving in an ugly way. And then what I've really done is just kind of went quiet. I mean, I'm in a nutrition group with people that I just love, but they're very much in fear. And so what I've been doing is in my meditations, I'm blasting that whole group with light and love and healing. And there's a couple of medical workers in that group. And so I've been shielding them. I check in with their higher soul. I put shields on them because I want them to be healthy so that they can go out and do the beautiful work that they're doing to help us all. I've been sending a lot of love and shields to our leadership of our country, of every country, of the globe. So, because can you imagine, I don't know if you've ever had to supervise people. I have. And what I find, it's very difficult to be in charge of a lot of people, a lot of adults who all have their own opinions and things that they have going on. And so I can't imagine being in charge of an entire country. I mean, that's a lot of work. And so it doesn't matter if you agree with the opinions or not. You're not on the inside. And so what I want to do, I don't want to be sending psychic attacks to anyone via my disapproval of their decisions or my thoughts or my ugliness. None of that. I don't want to do that because that just adds more darkness, and that's not what we need right now. So what I've been doing is just asking Spirit, the healing ministers, healing angels to bless and give wisdom and guidance. The Great Invocation is a great prayer to be using at this time. You can find it on the internet, the Great Invocation, just to help more love and light and power come down to the earth and restore light and the plan on the planet Earth. So that's what we need right now. And so, I don't know if I've shared this before, but when I was in the military, I lived in Turkey, and Turkey is a third world country. And so I got to see true poverty, and my heart broke. I had so much compassion for these people and the actual beauty and the way that people interacted and they found joy. And so at a time like this, I live in the United States, and we're a very wealthy country, and we're very blessed. And I know all of my listeners are not in the United States, and I understand that. I have so much love and compassion for anyone who's connected to this level of work and this type of work, because we're in the minority here. So I want to just speak from what I personally know and what I've noticed. So I've had to just get off social media because I can just barely tolerate it. I just can barely tolerate it. Because what I don't like is how people are panicking because they're falling into the mass media consumption, and they're starting to, get very fearful. And if you're surrounded by people who are fearful and you're consuming mass media, then that's exactly what you're getting, because you're swimming in that vibration. And then the more that you send out that fear, the more of it comes back to you, and it gets worse and worse and worse. So because I'm not in that space and I'm in minority, I just have kind of just stepped back and I've been very quiet. But I was texting with someone who I met recently, and he was telling me that he feels like the world is against him because he had just gotten really good in like a yoga practice and stuff, and then this stuff happened, and now he's quarantined to his house. And it just kind of struck a chord with me, not in a good way, but like, wow, we have to shift this. Okay, so we get to be at home. Okay, there's so many homeless people here in Denver. My heart breaks for them. I mean, we're in the middle of a blizzard here, because I'm recording this ahead of time. We're in the middle of a blizzard here, and I know it's supposed to be spring. It's not spring here. It's freezing. It's cold. And yes, we need to be quarantined to our home so that we don't contribute to the spread of this pandemic. But we have a home. And so that's something to be grateful for. We can't go to the gym. Okay. Can you move your body? Is your body healthy? There's so many things you can do, and you get to do it. So what I would just encourage you to do is just watch your language and shift it. So when I hear my daughters say, oh my gosh, I have to stay home, I'm like, wait a minute, you get to stay home. Think about all the times in which you don't want to go to school, you don't want to do the things that you normally do, and now you've been given the opportunity to unplug and get to do things a different way. This is the time to build your resilience. We can still connect to one another. You're listening to this now. All these technologies that we have, FaceTiming each other, Zoom. I was in a Zoom conference, actually 2 Zoom conferences this past week. And so it really isn't the end of the world. The important thing is just you stay healthy and that you get your mental health, keep it high and in check and healthy. Find ways around it. It's going to end. It's not going to last forever. This is temporary. And so I just really want to encourage you to keep your positive mindset. And when you are in the minority, just keep it to yourself, because that's what I've been doing. I do not energize differing opinions. Had a conversation this morning with a colleague who I'm also friends with. And he was like, okay, I went to the grocery store this morning. I had to get there when it opened because I wanted to get fresh fruits and vegetables. And so the grocery store here is selling out quickly, and it's important to me to keep my body healthy. And so I just wanted some spinach. Okay. I just want some fresh spinach. I'm healthy and I'm abiding by all the rules that have been placed forward. We're allowed to go to the grocery store. It's, no problem. And so I went to the grocery store, and he had called, and I shared with him, well, I went to the grocery store and it opened at 7. There was a line at 7, and he got quiet and he goes, did you stand in line at the grocery store? And I said, well, yeah, I had to get in line at the grocery store. And he goes, were you close to people? And I said, yeah. I mean, I wasn't like bumping into them, but I mean, I wasn't like, in the forest. There were people there. And he's like, we have to take this more seriously. We can't be close to each other with social distancing. And I said, wait, hold on a minute. Time out. The Center for Disease Control, the social distancing, yes, I'm not touching anyone. I'm not coughing on anyone. My hands are clean. I'm clean. If we're going to go to the store, we're not congregating, we're not talking to each other. If you're going to go out to the store, then of course wash your hands and sanitize. But the powers that be have said it's okay to go get groceries when you need them. And also I was out of dish soap. Okay, I needed dish soap. It's just the little things, right? And so he was like, well, I'm not going anywhere, which I understand why he's not going anywhere. He has a compromised immune system. I don't. He's got allergies and respiratory problems. So if I was him, I wouldn't go anywhere, but I'm not him. And so I went to the grocery store. And he's like, he was sharing with me, I think people need to take it more seriously. And I said, I'm taking it seriously. See, I have a differing opinion than him. I said, but he's one of my colleagues that knows that I do this type of work. And I said, I am doing energy healing work. I am very clairvoyant. So I can see diseased energy on people when I'm out. And so before I go out, I shield myself and I get my aura really bright and clean. And then I pull my aura in so I'm not bumping up against people, but I feel very guided and connected. And I'm also in a physical body. And so I'm also taking the precautions and I'm following the rules of the leaders that if they set forth, because I want to support them. Their job is tough and this is a tough time. And so if I'm doing all of those things, when other people have a differing opinion, I'm going to allow them to have that. I won't energize it. I'm not going to argue it. In this case, him and I were going back and forth and I'm like, listen, I understand what you're saying, but for here, my grocery delivery was 2 weeks out just based on the demand here. And I couldn't wait 2 weeks for spinach and and dish soap only because here, when you put those things in your basket, they end up not coming to you anyway. And so I just didn't see any reason why I couldn't go to the store and get it. So that's what I did. I'm not breaking any rules. I'm not harming anyone. I'm just doing the very best I can, like the rest of us. It wasn't the end of the world. And so when people try to make you feel that way, just stand strong on who you are. This is a great time to boost your meditation practice. Have some more quiet time, get more clarity, get yourself stronger spiritually, mentally, physically. Take really good care of yourself and be compassionate. Send your light and love to those who are affected. And that is something I am doing multiple times a day. And that's really the only reason why I check in to see what is going on the CDC. Go to the website and look because I want to bless those people who are impacted. And so I hope that helps. It's just important for us to stay in community and to lift each other up and support each other through this challenging time. We each have a choice on how we respond to this. We can be resilient and focus on all the things we have to be grateful for and all the blessings that can come of this. Or we can be a victim and be disgruntled and focus on the darkness. I'm choosing to stand in gratitude, focus on the light, and do my best to contribute to the solution. And I hope you'll join me in that. So I would love to do a healing with you. Let's just do a healing to shield you and flood you with divine healing energy. So go ahead and uncross your arms and legs if you can, and I will start the healing. I'm running some shields, and then I'm going to fill your aura with healing energy. and just cleaning the outer aura after I ran those shields. Okay, and so it is. I'd love to know how you are adjusting, what you're doing to make it through this time. What are the ways in which you are supporting yourself and others? Like I said, I'm loving the Peloton app. I think it's fun. I also had shared Leslie Sansone. She has walk at home videos on the internet. I love her. I just love her energy. She's a lot of fun. And so there's so many things. Also, if you have Amazon Prime, you can go to Prime Video and they have lots of exercise videos, meditation videos. I mean, we are just so blessed with technology. We have a wealth of tools and resources to support us. And so this is a time to just get really resourceful and make the very best of the situation and know that the light is coming. We will get through it. We're here to love and uplift one another and support each other. So have the best week you can possibly have, and know that you have all my love and support, and I appreciate you from the bottom of my heart. Take care. Bye-bye.